G'day guys, it's the Rantin' Aussie, and today I've got one for you that actually came from yesterday, but I'm going to give it to you today because yesterday I was a little bit hungover being New Year's Day. Hey, I'm an Australian, go figure. So what am I upset about? Well, the other day in the Australian, they released an article called "The Real Problem with Same-Sex Marriage." Now this was by Mr. Rabbi Shimon Cohen. Very good Jewish name, mind you, Cohen. And he was arguing in a debate style in this opinion piece. I want to make this clear. This is an opinion piece. He was debating against homosexual marriage, and in fact, in some places, against homosexuality actually existing. And he's made a wonderful argument, as you would expect from a typical Orthodox Jewish person or religious person in general, that this is a kicker, that the homosexual people actually need therapy. Now, this guy's obviously a bit of a turkey and a bit of a turd burger, but he argued his points very, very, very well. Now, you'd think the Australian Sex Party, would want to argue this point. It's a debate. You know, it's an opinion, it's not, does it really matter? Well, if you want it to matter, fine. The least you can do is say, look, Australian, you've got this guy's point of view. We want to write something in the paper as a response. We want to respond to his points, we want to show him where he's wrong, and we want to show all of your audience why this fucker is wrong. Surely that would make sense. And that would be the politically and intellectually right thing to do. No, instead they had their admin, and I hope it isn't a member of their actual party, but they had an admin on Facebook instead write the following. In 2016, how does the Australian think this rubbish on marriage equality from Rabbi Shimon Cohen is informed and respectful debate? They don't address Mr. Rabbi Cohen. They don't address him. They don't address any of the points, and they attack the Australian. Now, I don't know about you, why didn't they engage this man and his points in the Australian or on TV, or send him an email and say, look, we will meet you at such and such a public forum, let's have this out. Let's actually discuss this issue. No, they shut him down by attacking the Australian and not addressing him. Now, not only do I have a problem with this intellectually, I have a problem with this in the terms of integrity. These people are not attacking the people who are actually, that is the actual subject of their ire. They're not attacking the ideas. They are attacking the Australian. They are trying to censure, essentially, this man's opinion. Now, I don't agree with it. I would hope that a majority of Australians wouldn't agree with his opinion. I would hope so. However, there are certain people who do agree with his opinion. They have a right to that opinion, but hey, you address this publicly and you might actually get them to change their mind. No, instead you attack and attack and attack. Australian, how dare you? You should censure this person. You should just censure these opinions. It's 2016 current year. Well, it's 2017 now, but I'm sure they haven't changed their opinion. Justin Trudeau, I wish I could punch the cunt in the face. Now, and for those who don't know, he did the whole thing about, it's 2015, it's time for equality. Well, he called it equality, it was actually equity. But still, you know, who needs liberty anyway, right? So, this is what they did. Now, I was a little pissed off with this, and I thought, well, I'm going to look into this further. So I read the entire article. Now, as you can see, they actually posted 2 screen caps of the article, right? And that looks pretty good. And they got a link up above it. The 2 screen caps are half the article. Essentially half the argument. Essentially half the information. Now, the other half of the information actually contained, even though I don't consider them valid against the homosexual marriage argument, some valid points about safe schools in Victoria. Now, that's not there. Why is it not there? It doesn't suit their narrative. You want to talk about fake news. You want to talk about lies through omission. If you're going to put the link above it to the article, and people are going to say, oh yeah, but then they see 2 screen caps of the article, they're not going to look at the link. People are lazy. And if you've already got a narrative in your head, you're going to just look at those 2 screen caps and go, oh my God, it's all over, Jewish bastards. instead of going, okay, let's look at the story and go, ooh, this guy's actually got some really good points here. And in the overall context of the article, it makes a lot of fucking sense. And this needs to be actually thought about, debated against, and shown for what it is. A load of religious hyperbole. No, instead they go for the attack button and the shut the fuck up button. Now, I'm showing you now some of the back and forth between me and the Australian Sex Party. I've taken out anybody who wasn't part of that conversation insofar as the Australian Sex Party debate, including my own comments. I really didn't think that was necessary. So here we go. My response to this. Now, I want you to notice I am not responding at all to agreeing with his statements. This is purely my ideas about the Australian Sex Party. So here we go. It's called freedom of speech and a different point of view, which is required in a debate. Makes sense, you need to have a contrary point of view to your own in order to establish who is more correct and see if you can come to a consensus. And if you can't come to a consensus between the 2 or 3 people, or however many people it is debating, the audience then has enough information to make up their minds what they want to believe. Okay? Their response. We can call rubbish that isn't worth publishing in 2016, whatever that means. Isn't free speech wonderful? Oh, now they're trying to shut me down by saying we have a right to shut him down and tell the Australian they're evil. But you don't have a right to disagree with us. Shut up, boy, shut up! Oh, you can disagree with his sentiments and post your thoughts. So yes, free speech is wonderful. I was replying to the fact that in a debate you need people who disagree and challenge the ideas proposed, which his do. I don't need to agree with that. This to me is an intellectual process as much, and a virtuous process as much as it is about anything else. Let's have this debate. The next page, we go on to me realising once I've read from the link, the Australian Sex Party. Why is half the article missing? They then said, the link is there. We highlighted the more egregious rubbish. Do you think that was unfair? My response. I saw the link, however most folk will not click on the article assuming you screen cap the article. This seems like an attempt to guide the reasoning of your clickbait ready followers given the vitriol I read in the comments section. That, and the lack of argumentation refuting his points in your comment, which was made to play on people's emotions over this issue. Their response. It's self-evidently rubbish that belongs in the dark age and shows no modern understanding of the same-sex attraction. Once again, back to the argument. They can't beat my argument. They can't beat my fucking argument. So what do? Go back to the beginning. It's self-evidently rubbish. No, he has a right to his opinion. If you believe in free speech, which you just said, he has a right to his fucking opinion. You have the right to answer that opinion, but you're not trying to answer his opinion, you're just trying to shut him down. Take his platform and say, you're not allowed to say what we want you to say. Fuck off. And shows no modern understanding of same-sex attraction. He's an ascetic Jew. Duh. In other words, these people don't want to argue. My response is, I agree. However, this is not a refutation as a riposte in a debate. You're just preaching to the already convinced choir. In other words, you've got your circle jerk, you've got your wank. Or your finger, I don't know what you're into. This is the problem with modern politics. No one's willing to actually deal with any person with a dissenting idea, especially to the left. If you've got a dissenting idea to them, you're instantly rubbish, you're instantly stupid. They won't necessarily attack you. I mean, these guys are cowards. Think about it. Think about how cowardly it is that they would go to the Australians and say, how dare you have him on? They didn't address him. They didn't address his points. You know why I reckon they didn't? And I'm going to be quite honest here. Most people who are rabbis, ascetic Jewish rabbis, intellectually would burn 99% of these so-called intellectuals in politics today. Burn them. And they're not willing to discuss it because they know they'll get hurt. Because most of these people, it's an ideology. They're not actually convinced or convicted of their position in the sense of an intellectual truth. It's all about my reality exists and I don't care what your opinion is. This has to stop. In politics in general. This just has to stop. This is bullshit. I don't care if it's left, I don't care if it's right. It needs to stop. We need to start talking to each other. We need to have debates. We need to have the debates about Islam. How else are people going to learn about Islam? They're not going to do it for themselves. The majority of people would look, yeah, of course I've read the Quran. I've read I know it's called the Quran. Oh, of course I've read the Hadith. What the fuck's a Hadith? Oh, I've read the Sirah. What the fuck's the Sirah? Sharia law is bad. It's bad. I don't know why, but it's bad. This is why we need public debate, because the unwashed masses, I hate to use that term, but it's true, which is the majority of us. Let's face it, let's be honest. We all have lots of friends who don't know what they're talking about. And those of us who, I would put myself in the category of I know enough to be dangerous. I'm certainly no expert, but I know enough to be dangerous. We need to have these debates. Over these contentious social issues, we need to have these debates, not because we want to upset anybody, even though they're going to get triggered as fuck. Oh, I hate that word. Even though they're going to get upset as fuck. Who cares? I don't care if you're offended. We need to have these conversations. Because if we don't, and we don't allow everyone to have their say, it's going to end in tears, guys. We need to have good public debate. If you've got an issue, let's just say homosexual marriage, it's good to have people who don't agree with it and people who agree with it, and have them actually discuss and debate why it should or shouldn't happen. Let's work this out. I am really tired of this vacuous politic. I'm really tired of this vapid intercourse, of this bullshit. So, my suggestion to all of us is in 2017, let's now concentrate on the debate. Let's get talking. Let's get discussing our ideas. It doesn't matter if someone gets offended by your idea. You're entitled to that idea. And if they prove your idea wrong, don't get upset that they proved your idea wrong. Go, oh, okay. And maybe you need to study or research your idea more. And if it turns out to be wrong through your own studies of it, well, then you're going to have to change your course. If the other person's wrong and you know it, and you've beaten them, and they wish to stay their ideological course, fine. But the more people that think, the more people that are arguing their points and are learning, the better. I am the ranting Aussie, and I've ranted at you for a long time today. I'll catch you next time. And as for the Australian Sex Party, fuck you, get fucked, and fuck the fuck off. Alright. G'day guys, it's the ranting Aussie. Hey, did you like this video? Comment down below. Like the video? Share, and most importantly, subscribe. I'll catch you later.